Hello, guys, and we are back. We are back. Yes, for the second stream. This is awesome. I made it to the second stream. I think this is incredible, don't you? Okay, let's see who is here. Sophia. Hi, Sophia. Awesome to see you here. You weren't here the first time, I don't think so. Who's here? So will I reply to the chat? I will try to. Are there any more people I know? Mythic Lunaris. My friend, you here? Awesome. Sandy couldn't make it today. She'll rewatch another time. Emity, hey! Awesome. Zero. Tofu. I don't know how. I think I remember your name, yes, but I can't pronounce your name. Rosenkreuz. That sounds German. Obviously, yes. Yeah, it can be overwhelming with a lot of viewers. Last time it was, it was my first time last time, and I don't know. The first half minute was a bit awkward, I must say. but yeah, it was so much fun. I mean, we went on for like 3.5 hours, and it felt like one hour almost, maybe 2 hours. It was incredible. We didn't build much, but I had to kind of balance building and speaking to you guys, which can be hard. I mean, I have a lot of respect for streamers that can kind of build fast and also talk to the chat and actually keep up. But yeah, I will show you where we left off, and then we can just go back and forth, and I'll try and keep up with the chat. Let's see. Okay. Love the So Joseph says, love the monastery build. I'm almost done with it. That's awesome. That's actually a good choice, because it's actually one of those builds that it seems bigger than this. If you're actually building on the mountain I build on, it kind of adds so much, even though the towers themselves are actually not that big. I mean, in general, kind of the entire build is, of course, a big build, but compared to some of the others I've built, it's not as bad. Yeah, I mean, getting used to streaming is challenging, so don't worry. I don't worry at all, my friend. Yes, I'm excited to strike blue. Okay. You wonder what the plan is, Myth. I have no idea. Yeah, you do have an idea. Actually, Myth, I showed you earlier what we're going to do today. But yeah, for you guys, so this is what we did last time. And yeah, I mean, I'm not the fastest builder, but to be fair, it was my first stream. I had to talk with a lot of people. So yeah, it was a bit challenging. But kind of the general thing we kind of did was to try to find the outline. See, I can't even speak. The outline of the mountain to kind of create some shapes. And the great thing about these kind of natural shaped mountains in Minecraft is that they actually have a lot of angles, which works really well to just use for general shapes. So the entire idea, and yeah, maybe if you've seen the thumbnail of this stream, you can actually see my kind of the general idea I'm going for. This is just a quick sketch, really rough, but yeah, the thing I really like about this is to kind of use the mountain as this kind of footprint almost. So you kind of outline everything and then work from there, which is, I mean, it's cool because you kind of take what's already there and kind of use it in an appropriate way. But it's also, I mean, it also guides you to I mean, if you're building something completely in the middle of nowhere, you don't have a reference to build from, it can get a bit overwhelming, and you kind of you have to have a plan for what to build. But doing this is actually, I find it much easier because it almost builds itself in a lot of ways. I mean, of course, you have to make a lot of choices, but just the shape of the build will kind of be shaped by all these kind of mountains that are already there. Okay, let's see. Hello, guys. Mineralin, I think you're called. A giant nether portal. So actually, if you've seen my the arch tower, it's a lot not as wide as this one, but it's kind of the general principle of this: the two mountains and two towers combined, and a bridge on top. But I tried to add another portal, and I don't think you can. I think it's too big. There is some kind of limit for how big it can be, so it would need to kind of subdivided into multiple nether portals. I don't know how that will work, but yes, finally got to a stream. Awesome, yes. He's a goat. Well, I wouldn't say so, but thank you. So the professor, you're the professor. He's saying, or you're saying, do you know what you choose for a block palette? What style of this for this build is going to be? So for the if you've seen the thumbnail, I'll try to go for something kind of reddish in a sense. So so I'm using the mountain to kind of go from stone to, so there's obviously stone and dirt, and simply kind of create a gradient from that and up to some kind of reddish color. I wanted to use the cinnabar, but that hasn't been released yet for the full version. But I actually have, you can see here what I have. So this is my general kind of idea of a block palette. So we have stone here, and then we'll move into to stone bricks. And depending on where on the build, this gradient might be different, because some places it's mostly brick, like dirt. Other places it's more like pure stone. So the gradient will kind of go from that and up to maybe something like light gray terracotta. But I don't know, maybe we don't even need that. Maybe we can go straight into granite. So granite and dirt is fairly close to each other. So from there, it's actually quite easy to just jump into the kind of bricks, and then maybe something like terracotta and red terracotta, and then end on something like the mangrove, something like this, and perhaps some brighter colors in between. And then I want to kind of have it fade up into maybe some. So I have like a gradient here for the top, and so this is we're not there yet, but this is just some thoughts on what I might do. But I want to go from the mangrove into netherrack and blackstone, something like this. I'm not sure yet. I've tried to add some red nether bricks, but it's kind of difficult to create that gradient. So, but I think we'll see about that later. I think for now we'll just try and go from here and see what works. I even now I can't keep up with the chat, and it's not even that fast. No, Sandy isn't here this time. She had to do some other stuff, but next time perhaps. You should do a fantasy style city map. So for the next build, I have been alluding to kind of what I want to do, but this is not a fantasy style. This is something completely different. But it is, like, scale-wise, it is more in line with something like a city, perhaps. That's all I'm going to say about that. And then I have an idea for a Halloween build, for a city-like build. So if you played Bloodborne or Dark Souls, you kind of maybe get a feeling of kind of what I'm going for. But especially Bloodborne. Okay, so one thing I want to kind of talk about in the beginning here is that what we did last time was I used Axiom, the mod Axiom, to kind of create these large structures, and it was more about kind of getting the rough kind of shapes in place. So in a normal kind of creative kind of manual style of building, if I was to do this for a time lapse, for instance, usually for time lapse I try to create structures that are built entirely by like manually. Even though it's creative, I think it looks nicer to kind of have it be built manually, and you kind of see me, the tiny character, kind of moving up and down, and everything is kind of evolved in that way. I haven't done it for every build, but I mean, most builds I try to do that. So for some of the earlier builds, I did use World Edit to kind of copy sections to kind of show how you could build one section. For some of the Japanese builds, for instance, build one section and then just copy that along. In general, for this kind of build here, I would usually build this in manually, and then I won't ever create entire walls like this. I will do like I did in the beginning of the Crestling Castle tutorial, or not tutorial, the Crestling Castle time lapse, and that is simply to build the kind of the wireframe, basically the outline of the build, because by doing that you can just as easily see kind of the general shape of the build, and then kind of get a feeling of how everything is made, because all of this here will be substituted for detail for windows, or maybe I add some additional buildings on top of them. So it's much easier in general to just build the outline, but this was more to kind of, now that I'm working with tools like Axiom, it is much easier to just, for you, some of you that don't know the mod, you can do so many incredible things. So there's a stacking tool here where you can simply outline this upper frame here and simply scroll up, and now you have extended this basically as much as you want. And you can, if you want to do this quickly, you can do like so, and then just copy it in any direction, downwards, upwards. I think we hit the height limit. But yeah, that's really hey Crow, nice to see you here. And Patty, nice to see you. And State Star Freddy, awesome. You're a great builder. I mean, you have built several of my builds even before they actually came out as tutorials. So you're actually just watching the videos and just pausing and recreating everything. That's incredible. That's some mad observational power and dedication. So I'm just going to do this just to show you what I would have done otherwise, and because in the end I wouldn't be needing this at all, because we're going to substitute all of this with Windows or whatever we want to kind of add here. I'll just do it for this side too. Onixu, hi there. Hello and welcome. This is a new project. Yes, it is a new project. So I started this build last stream. I think it has been almost like 2.5 weeks, almost 3 weeks. I wanted to stream earlier, but I wanted to kind of have this. So I wanted to have a plan for kind of a streaming plan going forward. So I've decided to stream on this day, each one time each week, at the same time, basically. I mean, this might change, but I'm trying to kind of follow a set plan, so it's easier to just I know this. It's the same time each week, and you know when it is. I think that's easier for everybody. But yeah, it is a new build, and I created this from the sketch. If you've seen this thumbnail for the stream, you can see the sketch I made. I actually made that before I even started the build, and this is actually just quickly. I can show you my usual approach to building stuff like this is to find a place. Like I will find a seat and a nice location, some mountains, anything that I want to build on, and then I find kind of I think of it as a thumbnail for a build, or as a kind of what is the most beautiful way, kind of angle you can see this build at. So for this one, I was about around here. Then I take a screenshot, usually with a bit of zoom, so about 50, like so. It looks less dramatic in it's more natural in the way that the kind of the focal length of, if you think of it as a camera that's taking the picture, it looks better this way. And so I take a screenshot, and then I just go into Photoshop or whatever drawing software you have, and then simply just draw upon it and make kind of shapes, just rough shapes, maybe add some shadows, but it's only to get the rough shapes down. And this was the exact same way I built Utgard. The sketch for Utgard, kind of actually the entire shape of Utgard was created in a couple of minutes, because it was just making kind of rectangular shapes and just stacking them together, and then everything came from that. And by that you can always return to the spot you took the screenshot from and just see, okay, how does it look? Do I need this to be higher, or what do I need to do? So this is just an approach I really like to do. So Patty says, the Sanctum is kind of the heart of our Forever map, but I already built your bathhouse and just am going to start replicating Utgard, and also can't decide between two places for the Arch Tower. That is so awesome. I'm so glad that you picked the Sanctum for kind of the heart of the Forever map. I think the Sanctum is definitely one of those builds that a lot of people use, and because it's also a build that can be used for all sorts of things, you can add your own kind of interior to it. It doesn't have to be one particular way. Yeah, so much to build and so little time. That's exactly how I feel every single day of my life. Okay, so one thing I want to do to make this less boring, and this is not just to make it less boring, it's also to not so when I build big builds like this, there are moments where I get a bit kind of tired, not tired, but it's not even burnout, because I don't feel burnout in that way, but I feel like, oh, is this build even good? Because it's just rough shapes, just very, not really exciting shapes. It's just, there's nothing really there. And so one thing I like to do, instead of just building all the shapes first, I like to kind of zoom in just for one particular spot and kind of detail a bit of the build, just to get a bit of a feeling of what the detailing could be. So one of the pivotal things about this, kind of the important parts of this build, is the bridge itself. I think the detailing of this bridge is kind of what I would call the key element of this build. And just for now, okay, so I know that we're going to build this in a reddish tone, so I'll just transition to the mangrove just for this one here. And you're basically seeing like 4 blocks here, and it just repeats. So I can make this detail, like a detail for these 4 blocks, and simply copy it. Gotta trust the process, exactly. That's true, Brittany. How long I've been building stuff in Minecraft. So I have made a video about that, and I started back in 2011. And in 2011, I started on an SMP back then with some friends. That was actually a survival SMP with, wait a minute, we need this. Yeah, I started in 2011, and I played for just non-stop. It was back then there was only, I think the world height limit was 64 blocks from sea level. So you couldn't build anything like really large. And the detailing was really poor compared to now. I mean, it was a charming way of building. You kind of had to build the way that you had to build the way that the game dictated. So you couldn't kind of add. There wasn't any smaller blocks than normal blocks. Not even sure that slabs were there at the time. I can't remember. But then I had a kind of a couple of years where I didn't play, and then I got back into playing in 2015, and again I played just like crazy, and then I again had a couple of years, some years where I didn't play, and then I got back to it in just around COVID in 2020. It must have been, and that's when I actually, like after COVID in 21, that's actually the first time I actually started watching Minecraft content. I couldn't even tell you a single name of a Minecraft YouTuber or streamer during COVID. It was in 21 I started watching like Hermitcraft and a couple of other YouTubers, and my kind of I was always trying to build large builds, but back then, like in 2015, everything was kind of clean, no texturing, just really minimalist in terms of the block palette. So when I started watching YouTubers in 21, I watched Mythical Sausage, among others, and he was so good at kind of creating these, like, not his builds aren't that big actually, but the way he details and kind of put all his love into these small kind of small details, and that was what kind of gave me the inspiration to kind of add that to my scale, kind of large scale building. I could use that as kind of combining that level of kind of detailing with what I already could as an architect. I'm an architect in real life, and yeah. So, hey, Sandy, awesome that you came. And then I became the biggest Sandy Sparkles fan. That's true. Sandy, I have been on streaming before, streaming on my own channel, but only on Sandy's channel. And she has taught me all there is to know about streaming, because she's a streaming pro. Hey, Sati. Hey. Yes, it's Six Wings Thursdays. Okay. I'm just postponing building. I haven't done anything yet. Yeah, that's crazy. We're half an hour in, and I haven't even placed a single block yet. Okay, so we're gonna. What I want to do is to kind of create. I want to create detailing for one of these sections, and try to use this as a kind of because sometimes it's nice to. It's actually nice to kind of have this. What would you call it? It's nice to have kind of zoom in and just wait a second. It's nice to zoom in and kind of create detail in one place, just to get a sense of what is even possible in this scale. So this is what I like to do usually. Maybe just for a single spot. It doesn't have to be a lot. It's just to create a bit of. It's just to create kind of get a sense of the scale and what is possible. Yeah. So right now I'm just creating this kind of arch, which is, so the thing is, the way I like to build is to find ways to create detailing that kind of follows the kind of the shapes that is natural inside Minecraft. Which means that instead of pretending that this is a straight wall that is just jagged, I'm trying to kind of create a kind of intentional how would you put it, intentional detailing that looks like it's supposed to be this way. It's kind of difficult to explain, but yeah, I'll try. Curious how the new cinnabar blocks will look. Exactly, I mentioned the cinnabar blocks earlier because I was actually making this with a cinnabar block in mind, but because I'm not aware of anything when it comes to Minecraft updates, I'm just totally out of the loop. I just thought that, yeah, they are part of the main game now. And of course they're not, because they only added to the snapshot. So they won't be here until this doesn't look right. They're not here until the update is coming. Maybe some of the guys in the chat knows when that is. I don't know. Yeah, autumn trees. Yeah, that would be nice. Nether red nether bricks looks good with mango. Yes, it does. So I created a couple of gradients here. So I need to kind of the thing is, I already explained this, but for the people who haven't joined yet, I need to create this gradient from the mountain and up. So some places it would be a gradient from dirt up to kind of the red mangrove and red terracotta, and then have that fade into something more dark. And that could be, I mean, it could be something like red nether bricks, but it could also be netherrack and blackstone. I'm not sure yet, so I'm not going to do much texturing at this moment. This is more about detailing, but I have been thinking about what to do. What are the premium? So Philius asking what the premium builds are. So right now the only premium build is the golden palace, and so I want to add more. I want to. The next build is going to be part of that, yeah. So right now there isn't much there at the moment. That will come. So I am just trying to figure out exactly what I want to do here. So I think I'm gonna create this. Yeah, I keep changing it a bit, but that's simply because I'm not exactly sure how to do it. So for now, let's just use. I'm just gonna use simple blocks instead of texturing at this point. I will try to texture it a bit, not much, just a bit. And then so for this one, we have the next kind of section will start here, and by doing this, we should be able to just copy this all over to the other side. Super chat, awesome. Thank you so much, Deep Valley. Oh, finally, thank you for the awesome, beautiful builds. Your bathhouse tower was the first of your builds I came across. Loved it and follow you ever since. That is so great. I am so thankful. So thankful. I can't even speak. This is how excited I am. I'm so excited that I lost my ability to speak. Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, I love doing this so much. There's nothing in Minecraft or in kind of, if you kind of would describe this as work, that I would rather do than this. It is so much fun. I mean, it's the thing is, I told Myth this earlier today, that the thing about being an architect, especially if you are not in a position where you decide what to build or how to design the builds, you're kind of in this weird spot where you're kind of building for other people, and even when you're at a higher level, you I mean, of course, you can be in a position where you're able to kind of in a position where you're able to decide exactly what you want to do, but there's so many kind of things you need to be aware of. And for any architects in chat, if there are any, it's they probably know what I'm talking about, but there are so many things that you can't control. Things like the budget, that's the biggest thing that you're never in charge of. So it is just kind of a thing where you need to be able to let go of some of the more ambitious kind of design choices of what you're building. And I'm just speaking about a person that's actually in a position where they can actually be the lead builder on a project. And of course there's a bit of kind of I told her that too, there's maybe a bit of cope, because of course I would like to be in that position, but doing this is, I think, for my kind of temperament and what I like to do, is actually much better in all sorts of ways, because by doing this I have like complete control of for what I want to do on all levels. I can create a build, design it the way I want it. People will see it, and even though this isn't real per se, it's not real life, but it is. I mean, it's as real as a lot of other things in life that you kind of experience. So I think, it can definitely be real in a sense, right? And it's just much more fulfilling, like creatively, to do something like this where you can just do whatever you want to do, and then when I'm done building, I can make a video about it and just pour all my love into creating a video that kind of does the build justice in a way that I find interesting. So this might be like for like a short film, a tale, like I usually call them, or a time lapse, or like anything, or maybe even like a video essay where I explain what I'm doing and how I'm building. So there's just on each level of the process, I find it more engaging than anything I could do otherwise. So, Sandy, you'll be popping in and out. That's awesome. I was hoping that you stop by, but I completely get it. I mean, people, sometimes there are other things in life you need to attend to. But what could be more important than 6-wing streams, right, Sandy? No, it's fine. I'll admit, I did not expect you to go down. What are you talking about? Are you talking about Sandy? Hello from Finland. Love what you do. Just finished building this. Okay, this was... Oh, I didn't read that. I thought it just sounded like another comment. I just finished building the Sanctum on my server. Thought about doing the Utgard next. Awesome. When will the new build be uploaded to the premium build links? So this build won't be premium. This will be one of the lower tiers, definitely. The new build, so the problem is the build hasn't even been built yet. The one I'm speaking of, the next kind of big build I'm building. This will be like a big city, you could call it. And I really don't know when it's going to be done. If I'm really fast at building, it might be like a month perhaps, but maybe more, probably more, I would say. And that's how that's just how it is. It's just it is just really difficult to kind of make these builds for a video, because when you're making a build for a video, it is much more difficult, because you need to think about how you are kind of building for kind of, I mean, everything you're building has to be recorded, and I want to create something that's also nice to kind of be watched as a video. Which reminds me, my first big mistake. I'm not even recording. So this will be recorded. So I don't have any plans specifically for video for this, but it's always nice to have a recording for just for a video later. I mean, luckily, I think that World Edit, the replay mod has like a pre-recording mode where it's actually been recording all the time, I think. So I might be saved by that. Okay, let's see. Man, you really can inspire people to hop on and start mega projects. I'm so glad that you think that. I mean, I've seen people that come by my channel and start building, and they are just disillusioned and get angry because it's. I mean, I completely empathize with that, because it is. I mean, come on! There was some of these builds, especially if you're building in survival. I mean, what an insanely awesome thing to do, but also extremely demanding to build this in survival. Another super chat. Thank you so much, Bibliosoph. Greetings from Germany. I built your mausoleum and the current building, in the Emerald Palace, and I'm also having so much fun. Can't wait for the Echelon. That is awesome. I'm actually half German, so ich kann ein bisschen Deutsch. Ich spreche sehr selten Deutsch, aber ich kann ein bisschen. But yeah, the Echelon, that's actually one of my personal favorites. I'm not sure it's going to be the next one, but I think the next one after that, it might be, yeah. Because I really want to do that. And I know, Sophia, you like that too, so I've heard you say at some point. Castles aren't for the weak. No, they're not. And all of us can be a bit weak sometimes. So right now I have this. I mean, you can't even see what it is at this point, but I just detail this part here, and I'm just figuring out how big or how kind of thick the bridge is going to be. But we can just try this and see if we find this sufficient. So what I'm going to do now is use the stacking tool to just copy this layer here. And like that. So easy. But yeah, Kartoffel is the only German word I know, and I'm proud of it. Yes. Kartoffel, that's the same word in Danish, actually. It's also Kartoffel. It's Kartoffel, but almost the same. So just to show you so I do want to texture all of this, but what I want to do in the end is actually you can actually see it here. I want to kind of create highlights. So it's a bit, so some of the parts kind of pop a bit. So I want to kind of create some kind of gradient here for these these wall blocks here, and it might be something like this. I'm not sure exactly yet, but it might be something like this to kind of create these highlights. It's a bit like I did on the Echelon, actually, on the outside, and this might actually look great on kind of when it's done. So right now, I'm just trying to check it with shaders, just to see. But oh, what happened? I need glasses. Oh, okay. Depth of field. So right now, of course, this is kind of it's quite small compared to the entire build. But then the thing is, you can actually, I mean, it's fine to have kind of really detailed parts, but then maybe the arch itself here can be a bit more kind of less detail, or kind of, yeah. I think it's nice to have kind of different, how would you put it? I think with if everything is detailed the same amount, it might be, it can look a bit kind of messy in a sense. It's not. I mean, it doesn't have to be, but it can look a bit messy. So it is nice to have some parts that are a bit more kind of simple, basically. Yeah. Buddy, you're on face cam. What are you saying? Come on. This is what happens when you don't pay attention to anything. Okay, I'll just repeat that. Yeah, I'm locked in. I can just do the entire thing, the entire thing on Facecam, and just do that, and you can't see anything. Okay, I was just saying that. Okay, I'll just put on the shaders. The shaders here, you can see that this part here going. So it's not really that detailed looking at it closely, but looking at it from afar, it is really for a build of this size, it's quite detailed, I would say, to have something like this. And this is not even textured yet, so this is yeah, fairly. It's not as detailed as it could be, but yeah. Compared to the scale, it is. So what I was going to say is just, it's nice to have a variety of levels of detail. So this wall section here might be just a wall section, and then it might fade into a window or parts of it that is much more detailed. So in that way, your eyes get drawn to certain parts of the build instead of just watching everything be kind of at the same level. So I was just going to say that this. So here, underneath here, we're going to have the arch. Somewhere around here, it's going to kind of taper off and touch this part I'm building here. But this part might be, I might make this a little less detailed. We'll have to see about that, but yeah, perhaps. But thank you, Miss, for reminding me that that I am not paying attention. Yeah, it happens to the best of. Yeah, Sati, you are a pro streamer too. I know too. You're a pro streamer. I'm an inspiring. I aspire to be a pro streamer. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so I have two screens. So I'm just looking at my screen here. I'm just not paying attention at all. Yeah. Okay. Let's try and just, so for now, I don't want to kind of create this too much kind of texturing. I was just wanted to show you what I could kind of do later on. So, okay, let's try and just copy this just for the entire section, and then, yeah, then let's see if how everything looks. I guess there are ways of... Okay, so just for a quick test, there's another tool we tried last time called smearing. I'm not actually sure this is the appropriate tool, but we can try and see if it works. But if we do like this, and then no, okay, we can't do this. I don't think we can. It will simply copy, so this will copy everything in kind of a weird way. You can see here. And this is definitely not what we want. So, okay, I actually did it. Okay, well, now you can see what this tool does. I'm just going to copy it like the traditional way or the normal way. Yeah, I love you for the straightforwardness, Myth. I know, that's exactly true. You tell it how it is. Okay. Now I actually copied the... So the state of the block is also copied. So you can see this block here. This is the state of this block, you can call it. It's basically being that it kind of connects to two. It connects to this block here and this block here. So everything you copy with Axiom will copy this state. So you can see here. Now this will copy both these states. So just be aware of that. If you use the tool, just be aware of that. So it might be easy to just start from this point here and just copy from that point. Yeah, I'm not even answering questions, but I'm so fast. I'm not fast at all. I mean, I am actually. If you go watch, I can't. On the top of my head name any names, but there are builders out there that are just the way they use Axiom and the way they kind of create builds is just like 10 times faster than what I'm doing. So yeah, I'm definitely not a fast builder, but in a way I told you this last time, but I really like the kind of the connection to Minecraft, how Minecraft is, I wouldn't say meant to be played, but vanilla Minecraft, the way you play it in a vanilla or in just creative, or in creative vanilla, that's what I'm gonna say. The way you kind of the way you play is much slower. So you don't move around. So what you can do in Axiom, you can go into the editor mode and do all sorts of stuff. There's so many things you can do, and I don't like doing it. And I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. It's an awesome tool for all sorts of things. But I just find the kind of the more traditional way of building appeals to me. So I try to kind of use the tools that like Axiom and World Edit in a way that when it integrates into kind of a normal play of building, a normal style of building. And of course, that makes everything slower. The way I move around is like basically like would in any other playthrough, like a creative vanilla playthrough. But yeah, that's just how I prefer it. So Hydro, you're asking, I know this is out of the blue, but I have to know if you have a pet or not. I actually don't have a pet. I am thinking about getting one, maybe. So let's go full screen. I used to have like extreme allergies. So with asthma and with the medicine I'm having now, it's actually not as bad. So I can be around pets like cats and dogs at this moment. So it doesn't bother me anymore, really. So I'm not going to say that I will have one, but I might. Okay, I'm just going to close this off here. So yeah, the way this connects it's not quite as cleanly as. So I'm a bit of a pedantic person when it comes to kind of how everything is detailed, even though in the end it doesn't matter. When everything is textured, some kind of small weirdness is actually nice to have. I don't think it's bad to have things that doesn't line up as it should. I think that's totally fine. So I just have to learn to embrace that. Yeah. But yeah, so the thing what I talk about in some of my video essays or kind of video guides is to kind of find the key element of the build, the element that is most important to the build. And for me, for this one is the bridge itself. So I think kind of finishing this with kind of some level of detail kind of will unlock a lot of other stuff. This will also help us. Sorry, this will also help us decide kind of how big we want this to be, and how big the building is beside it are going to be. Because when this is kind of built, everything. I mean, kind of the balance of everything will be more easy to kind of determine. So, do I need a large tower here? Maybe, perhaps I do. I don't know yet. But this is one of those things where you kind of figure out while building, and you see some aspects of the builds will emerge, and you will kind of realize some things about the build and how everything is kind of scale-wise and kind of proportion-wise. Okay. Pedantic, we'd have to. Yeah. Myth. I am a bit pedantic. I'm even sure pedantic is the right word of using, but you know what I mean. I'm Danish, so give me a break. Okay, so the thing we need to do here. This is actually a thing that's a bit tricky, because this is much bigger. So if you've seen the Arch Tower, for instance, or even the Crystalline Castle, those are much smaller. The span of those bridges are much smaller. So kind of coming up with the size of the bridge itself is just much easier to do. So what I think is kind of one way of doing it. I'm not sure this is the best way, but we'll try and see. So right now we have we know the kind of the length of this bridge here. So what I'm gonna do is to kind of we're gonna zoom out a bit and just get a general feel of where the bridge will be kind of starting the arch of the bridge. And I think actually all the way down here at the wall, this is where it's going to begin, and then slowly kind of taper up or kind of curve upwards, and then hit a kind of a long, soft kind of arch up here. And what I'm going to do is to kind of actually create this as, let's say, kind of as a 2D version of it, for lack of a better term. So I'm simply going to place just oh, what is happening? Oh, okay. So this one here, I'm simply going to take this and just make a copy of this and bring it up here to, I need it to be somewhere around the start. Okay, this was probably too far. Yeah, I need it to be somewhere around here. Let's just actually stack this entire thing. Wait, another super chat. Okay, am I crazy? Is that $50? Or am I? So I'm, as you can tell, I'm new to streaming. So, but 50 is incredible. Thank you so much. I can only see some of a bit of your name. So it's Star. I can see that. How does this work? Can I bring this up? Okay. But thank you so much. So your comment is nice build, man. Keep going with from Texas. Oh, from Texas. That is awesome. Thank you so much. This is incredible. This is just too much. Thank you. I've never been to Texas. I've been to the States a long time ago, but only on the East Coast. I was. I've been to New York and yeah, Washington and some of the kind of the major cities over there. Boston. Never been to Texas, unfortunately. Yeah, awesome super chat. That's incredible. You're awesome. Really, thank you so much. It's 50. Yeah, thank you, Sophie. $50. Yeah. I know. I can see it's $50, but you know, it's when you see it like that, it's just like, is that really true? Is someone giving me that much money? That's, I mean, that's incredible. Thank you so much. Does Axiom affect performance? I don't think Axiom affects performance at all, really. It's just integrated into Minecraft, and you can just you can just use it as any other mod. I mean, the only thing that it kind of, if you're building something extremely large, in the same way as, I don't know if you know World Edit. If you use World Edit, you can kind of set 2 points, so you have making a kind of imaginary box. And if you do this for a large area and just say set this like to kind of one block type, so just stone, for instance, the mod will add stone for this entire block, which is just sometimes way too much to handle for a PC. So for stuff like that, if you do something similar in Axiom, I'd imagine that it's the same thing. It's just really taxing on the computer. So, but other than that, I don't think there's. I'm not sure. Maybe some of you are the other guys with. So I have a fairly beefy computer, not extremely beefy. It is a couple of years old, but it's fairly. It's kind of, yeah, it's good. But I don't think so. No. So Elite. Hello, I discovered you last week and I already finished the Cathedral tour. That's amazing. I haven't played Minecraft since 2014 and only got back to playing MC since I saw like 1,000 video, and now I don't know what. Yeah, okay, but you saw a lot of videos. Okay, oh, that's a long time ago. Yeah, I have been hatching. I've not been hatching. I've been having hiatus between kind of building for a long time and then just taking a couple of years off. I've done this several times, so I know how that is. Yeah, I'm trying to speak normally, but it can be difficult sometimes. That's okay. Okay, what I'm trying to do here is to create kind of the arch here. So I have no idea if this is a good way of doing it. I've never done this before in this way, because I've never built an arch this big. So I'm just trying to kind of, do a rough kind of, a rough arch just to see how everything, if it's kind of the angle of the arch in general, and see how we're going to build it. So this is just a test. I'm just trying this. Yeah, just to see if... Okay. But yeah, to all of you streamers out there, I really... this is really bad. Look at this. This is not good. Okay. So this needs to be tapered out like long before. So what you can do here, just to kind of quickly remove this flaw of mine here. Like so. Now it's like it never happened. So don't tell anyone that I... Yeah, I mean, for big builds like this, there's always a lot of trial and error and just trying to kind of find I think the biggest thing you need to kind of think about is kind of the general... kind of, how would you put it? The proportions of the large kind of aspects of the build, so the pillars and just in general how everything fits together in terms of proportionality. And this just takes practice, and you just need to kind of change things up if it's too kind of if it doesn't work. I mean, this is actually not that bad. I think this is, so it's it should be touch kind of the upper part somewhere around here, and then we can kind of apply this to kind of the angled shape. We'll try it. Let's see if I've missed some comments. A lot of Claire here. I haven't even noticed. So Elite, you're saying, I'm a bit gutsy on my survival. Now I have a hardcore and I'm looking for new builds from 6, which is awesome. That is awesome. I mean, depending on if you're playing how kind of bold you want to be, you can use some of the smaller builds or some of the bigger ones. Hey Rebecca, hey! I just saw you now. Hello, welcome. And Amethyst, good to see you here too. I haven't seen if you have posted something earlier, but I see you now. Got some advice for keeping Hardcore World fresh and keep building? No, I don't, because I have been playing. I have a survival world, but only like normal survival, not hardcore. I have tried hardcore with Sandy. She was here earlier, and we died. I mean, I would say that because Sandy is a bit of a chaotic player, and I'm much more kind of I want everything to be kind of planned out. I don't want to kind of jump into anything extreme like right off the get-go. But yeah, we died. So I don't have any advice when it comes to hardcore. I mean, I think hardcore is awesome, and I think I do want to play a hardcore playthrough at some point. It could be awesome. But before I even do that, I think I would need to... I mean, I would probably need to do a normal playthrough. Because I do... So I do have a... If you haven't seen it yet, I do have a survival playthrough on my channel. It's over 3 years old. I have like 3 episodes, maybe? Something like that. So I have no idea what I'm doing right now. I'm just trying to figure out exactly what to do. But yeah, survival, I think I want to do a video about this at some point, because I think so what I'm doing here with my builds and building these extremely large builds and then creating videos, I just love doing that. So there's no I really love doing that. But I do miss playing survival too. I think just this feeling of waking up in a build you've built just from scratch, and everything you have mined everything, and you have kind of lit everything up to keep everything spawn proof. And there's just something about just living in a world, in a Minecraft world, where you you feel like you accomplished something. It's not that I don't feel like I'm accomplishing something with this, but it just has something special about it, and I do want to go back to that at some point. And actually, the last video I made for survival, that was actually in the middle of a build I was making. So it was a Christmas build, not a Christmas build, but it was just before Christmas. And I had this I started this build, and I never really did anything more with it than just never finishing. I just never finished it. And the idea is to go back to that build at some point and just finish it and just continue that series. And I think I will finish that series and then start a new one at some point. But again, it's just the way I make YouTube videos. It's just so time consuming. I just I don't know. It's just takes so much time just making both video and builds. So it's it can get it's a bit difficult to kind of do all the things I want to do. Hey Sandy. Survival. So Sati, you're saying survival is low-key fun. Highly recommend. Yeah, it is, and especially if you're playing with others. So that's also a thing that could be really fun to do. And I don't know. I know I've been having a lot of ideas, and I have been speaking about all sorts of things I like to do with us, maybe creating a server for patrons or something like that, where more people can come and join and play. But yeah, there's just so many things that keep getting in the way. But that's okay. I mean, it's better to have it's better to have too much to do than too little, I think. So when I see other Minecraft YouTubers in general that feel burnout or feel like they don't know what to build or what to do, I mean, it's it happens, and I'm not saying it couldn't happen to me at some point, but yeah, it's not something my problem is the opposite, basically. It's just way too many ideas. I have a long list of things I want to do, and I mean, just so little time. So yeah, what am I doing? I am trying to so I'll just remove this part here. It's definitely not done yet. It's a bit weird, but let's just try and copy this one to the other side just to see how it looks. So the professor is a knalltüte. I don't know if it's meant to be that. Hey Six, what is your favorite architectural building style? That's difficult to say. I think it is difficult to say. I mean, Gothic architecture is, like with most builders, one of the top ones. But I really like all sorts of architectural builds or styles. And I mentioned this last time. I think in the way I think about building, I think it's very Baroque inspired, or kind of the thought process is very Baroque. And what I mean by that is that in Baroque architecture. So Baroque came after the Renaissance, and Renaissance architecture is all about harmony and kind of proportionality. Everything is kind of neat, and the facade is kind of rightly proportioned, and everything is kind of thought of in terms of being harmonic and in the right proportions. And so it's not as bombastic as something like Baroque. But more than just that, I think the way Baroque architecture is kind of so the way I see it, the Baroque architecture is very much a thing of contrast in scale and detail. So you have the very large pillars, very large structures, and very fine detail. And when it comes to kind of, instead of having a facade, like a flat facade that is kind of neatly structured with, because, so just a side note, when it comes to Renaissance architecture, you don't often see pillars that are more than one floor or one kind of section. So everything is kind of divided in so it isn't as, it's much more kind of, I would say humble. It might not be the right term, but with Baroque architecture, they didn't give an F about that. They made everything much more, much larger. And the way a facade in kind of, if you think about a facade in Renaissance architecture, it is more flat and much more kind of two-dimensional, whereas Baroque architecture is much more. There's much more depth to it, and so that means that you can kind of create this. So the Sanctum is a great example. It's not really Baroque architecture, but it is very much kind of, it's built with the mindset of Baroque architecture, that where everything is really kind of it's there's a lot of depth to everything, and when you can't just look at the building and kind of interpret it as like, here's the facade, here's the wall. It's much more about the kind of thick structures that are kind of arranged in different kind of layers, you might say. Maybe it's a weird way of explaining it, but just as a general thing, I'm just saying that I think my way of building is very much Baroque, kind of inspired in terms of the way I think about building. So yeah. And Rococo, yeah. Actually, so you like Baroque and Rococo. So Rococo, that is the style that kind of succeeded Baroque. It's actually like Baroque, but it's more finely detailed. You see a lot of gold inside the ceilings of the churches, and some of the details of the outer walls on top, just below the dome of the sanctum, was actually inspired by Rococo architecture, just in a kind of in a roundabout way. It's not. I wouldn't call it Baroque or Rococo, but it's it has some elements of that, I would say. I'm just going back and forth, just finding the right level of. Let's just have a look and see. Yeah, so you can see here, it's not really smooth. I mean, this is not even that bad, I would say, for this one here. It's not that bad. It's a bit. I mean, I want it to be stretched a bit. So this shape you see here, this is actually has a bit of Byzantine architecture, if you know that, which is a bit more. The way it's angled is not exactly Byzantine, but it has some of that, an element of it. Architecture lessons. I mean, this is so. Sartre, the way I'm explaining it, this is so I'm not used to explaining things in English. So I'm just kind of translating everything in my mind, what I what I want to say, and trying to apply that to what that might sound like. But I think sometimes it's also nice to kind of have a more of less more of a layman way of explaining it. So I'm explaining it in a way that might be easy to understand. Instead of using fancy terms, I just explain it more kind of, I don't know, visually, you might say. So let's just step back here and have a look and see. So we can always adjust this more kind of at a later point. I think it's not too far off. If I wanted to do something, it's probably to kind of add just a block here and just one, I don't know, just from here and down to this part here. Let's just see. Maybe, and then this might be. Yeah, let's try this. Something like this. Let's try something like this. Why are we so quiet, people? What do you mean? If you are texting or messaging more in the chat, I wouldn't be able to keep up. So it's perfect. Yeah, Baroque is dramatic architecture. You could say that. That's definitely a hallmark of that style. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to have a look at the chat just to see if I missed something. The clone command, is that... What do you mean the clone command? Is that... Oh, yeah, yes, this is the one I just used. Yes. The clone command, that's the one I've actually been using a lot. So Myth, now I remember to go back to Minecraft. Just before I forgot. I tried to explain a lot of things, and it was just my face, and you were just laughing at me like I'm the biggest idiot, which I was, to be fair. But yeah, I've been using... So I created this detail here, just one detail, just to try and... Because the thing is, when you're building a large build like this, you could build all the biggest volumes first, and then just build a kind of detail at the end. But I kind of like to kind of jump ahead and just do a couple of details, just to find out kind of find the kind of the design language, the way I want to detail it before I go back and kind of finish everything else. So that's what I'm trying to do now. I don't use clone command. I'm on survival. I just happen to have lots of wood. Yeah, I mean it is only in of course only in creative mode. So for now, let's just use this. Well, let's just use this. I'll just do a bit more here, but then, yeah, let's use this, guys. Oh. Yes. Okay. So now I'm simply just deleting this part here again, and then so I have a reference point, and now I'm simply copying everything and just mirroring everything on the other side. So Rebecca, I struggle a lot with scaling my builds properly. Any advice? I overshoot and a lot, I think, but small scale builds are a little boring. Yeah, I mean, it's difficult to kind of, because it's different for each build. So I have done that too. I have kind of started the build, and then I've end up kind of making the build. I mean, it ends up being way too large or difficult to kind of handle, I think, and it's just difficult for me to kind of exactly say what I. Hey, you. So Vin, something like Vincent, probably not that. Welcome to your foundation worker. This is awesome. Thank you so much. but yeah, I mean, struggling with scale, it is difficult, and I think it depends on how you build, because if you're in survival or even in creative and you don't use any tools, this can be difficult. And so I have a what would you call it, a test world where I kind of try things out, and sometimes, so maybe one way of doing it, this is just a suggestion, and one way of doing it is to simply take a part of the build, try and come up with a couple of details that you find works, so you become more confident in the kind of in the level of detail you're applying. Maybe that sounds weird, but I think because what I've been doing here is just raising these large structures, and it can be a bit difficult to know, I mean, what could I even use this for? Is it easy enough to apply detail to it? So yeah, I don't know. So I don't know. Do you play? I can't remember. Do you play, Rebecca? Do you play mostly in creative mode, or what do you do? So maybe this might kind of change the perception of. How do I join the Discord? I recently go to the builder tier on Patreon. So the Discord you can just join by. You should be able to just go to the link in any of my videos. There's a link there, and I think through Patreon there might be a way to link it up. I can't remember how it is. Yeah, I would need to check, but I know there's a way inside of Patreon where you can kind of link it up. The goat live streams death. Yes, thank you for calling me goat. The goat. How will you rotate to match the bridge itself? So that's what I'm. Okay. So the thing I've been doing for the last half hour or even more. So I mean, even now when looking at the time, it's incredible. It's almost 1.5 hours, and I feel like I just got started. So yeah, this is. I feel like I'm a bit behind, but that's fine. That's fine. I will just. So what I've been doing this for now is to create this in like a two-dimensional arch, basically. And I will just take each section of this and simply move it to kind of fit for each of these sections. And I said before doing this, I even said that I haven't done it this way before. I don't think so. Maybe maybe I have actually. For Freya's Hall, I made this bridge, the white build. I made this bridge behind the build, and this bridge is fairly big. It's not nearly as big as this one, but I think I did it actually the same way, because that bridge had that. Okay, not bitch. That bridge. That bridge was angled in the same way as this one, almost. And yeah, I had to do it. I think I did it about in the same way as this. I think so. So yeah, I actually have done it before, but not quite in the same way as to the scale. So I'm not saying, maybe there are probably other ways of doing that is easier, or this is just what I kind of thought would be an appropriate way of doing it. Yeah, the first hour flew by, and I didn't even. I mean, for the first half hour, I didn't even really build anything. And I know, Myth, you and Sandy, you have been taking bets on how many streams it takes me to finish this build, and one of you said 11, and I mean, come on, you got to have a little bit more faith in me than that. Well, that depends on how much I will detail it. I don't know yet. If it's just like a build without any interior, we'll have to see about that. But I think just getting to make a bit of detailing here will actually be look much more finished than before. So Elite 6, I have to say goodbye. Oh, okay. Thank you so much for dropping by. Hope you get to see on YouTube. It's 3 a.m. Oh, that's really late. Looking forward to the next one. Thank you so much for stopping by. It was awesome seeing you here, and I hope so. This is a weekly stream, so I really hope to see you next time, or I will see you in a video, or something. And I might even do kind of earlier streams sometimes. So Death, I am from Denmark. I'm a true Viking, exactly. The red blocks from the upcoming sulfur caves drops might look good. That guy is here, exactly. You are completely right. I want to use the. I wanted to use the sulfur blocks for this one here, but because I don't really pay attention to the updates and how it works, I completely forgot. I actually said that in the first stream that I had planned on using it, and then I was actually on the stream. I was actually searching for the block, but of course it wasn't here because this is it's the snapshot that they added it to, not the full version. So I couldn't. But depending on when this is going to be released, I might even go back and just add that block type later. I could do that. I think that's actually a good idea to just go back and kind of maybe substitute some of the blocks for the Cinnabar. I think it's Cinnabar it's called. Can't wait for my next PC next week. I can finally switch to Java. Yeah. Phil, that's I mean, yeah, all of you can probably like empathize with having a PC that's just not up to par with Minecraft kind of render distance and shaders and all that good stuff. So I completely get that. So a really good builder and YouTuber called Drasilia, one of my friends actually. She is. I think her PC is actually not that good, but the way she just embraces that and doesn't use like a far render distance, and she doesn't use shaders as much, and her builds are great either way. So you can actually, you don't have to be. I mean, of course, if you're using a potato for a PC, it's difficult, but I mean, you can go far with a less optimal PC, definitely. So, but of course, if you see these big builds with kind of like infinite render distance, of course I get that people would want to kind of have that too. So I'm not saying it's not something that you should strive for. Definitely. Hello, Phantom. Or yeah, I don't think I've seen you before. Today, at least. Do you have a regional style that you would love to make a build from that you haven't made a build from already? So the thing about Danish architecture, in some weird way, it feels a bit too close to home. So each time I try to kind of think about something that is Danish, it's kind of a pressure because it feels like a lesser version of what's already there. So I need to find a way of being inspired by a Danish building and then apply that to kind of a build like I do, which is actually an interesting kind of tangent because people keep asking me if I want to kind of try a build that is like a real life build or something, and it's not that I don't want to do that, but I feel like this is just a personal thing for me. It's not a thing I kind of I would kind of apply to other builders. Definitely not. But I feel like if I were to recreate something one-to-one, Myth, I did it again. I am just talking and not showing the I need to. Okay, so we talked about last time. So okay, I can just say this now that I am on that tangent. Last time it was difficult to kind of multitask and build and talk to the chat at the same time because it was the first time, and I think this is just one of those things you have to learn and you have to get used to. which for me is quite difficult. So my friends, they suggested that I could just go full screen instead, and just each time I want to explain something, that instead of just having the camera just kind of not move on screen and nothing happening in Minecraft, they suggested maybe I could just go full screen. And now that I think about that, I just forget to go back. So I'm just talking and I'm not really paying attention to what's happening on OBS. So yeah, I need to learn that. So next, you're saying, I built your mausoleum in a survival world, and it is truly makes all the difference. I've always loved your builds. Absolutely impressive. Thank you so much. That really means a lot to me. I hope that it was easy enough to build, because, I mean, I know not all people are at the same level of building, but I mean, I can understand the kind of the frustration of building something and then having the tutorial be unclear, or yeah. So I completely get that can be an issue. So I hope that, yeah, I hope that my build or my tutorials are kind of good enough. I try to improve each time. Each time I make a new build, I try to improve. So I'm just taking a step back here just to see how everything looks. This is, of course, like 2-dimensional, but just seeing this is actually gives a kind of an idea of the scale of it, and kind of the general kind of shape of it, and how. So I definitely need to have this piece over here, this building over here, be much bigger. So I do want to kind of have all of this you see here, have that be raised to be the main build, and probably also more of this, and probably also some towers. So you've seen the thumbnail of the video, the stream, and this is basically like a rough sketch of what I want to build. But yeah, I will be changing a lot throughout the build, so this is just the beginning. But yeah, I mean, I think so. These kind of walls here, for now, we can just. I think I will let them be for now, and I think now is actually a good time to go back and kind of focus on the large kind of the larger shapes. So right now we have. So we detail this. This is just one detail that I copied, and in time I will texture everything, and maybe this will even follow the shape of the arch and move downwards, or I will make kind of a different kind of piece of detail here. I don't know yet. I'll have to see about that. But yeah, this is a good start. I mean, the shape itself is not perfect. I can see now that it could do. I could change it a bit, but I think it's almost there. So, okay, I think just to make everything more kind of to make everything more clear what I want to work with, I think I will actually change everything to the block. Sorry, I'm using right now. So I will use World Edit for this. And I mean, it's not. This is not how it will look in the end. This is simply to make it easy to kind of work with one block and not focus on the texturing at this point. So I'm just going to replace all the stone bricks with mangrove leaves. No, mangrove planks for now. And this obviously won't be the final version or the final kind of look of the build, because I do want to kind of create this gradient that goes from the dirt and stone, and kind of gradually kind of morph into the red stone, not the red stone, the red block color. And this gradient I have here, I made this before stream, and I think something like this could be cool. So going from stone to maybe some light gray terracotta and granite and bricks, and then to these blocks here. And maybe I will skip one of them. I'm not sure yet. I tend to not. So one of the things that Axiom, I'll just show you here. I don't know how many people of you have used Axiom. Hey, Poodle, hi six. Yeah, you're saying hi six. Hi, Poodle. I'm not saying hi six to myself. I'm not crazy. No, one of the things that they added for Axiom, maybe you already know about this, and maybe you don't, but they have added this, the color picker. This is really useful just to find the color you want, the color you need, and it will kind of map out the blocks that matches that tone of. I'm currently in India with my family. That's awesome. I hope you are doing great. But yeah, you can pick colors here, and you can also do a gradient. And this is a tool. I use it sometimes, but I think the problem I'm having with this gradient tool here is as follows. And maybe you feel the same way. Maybe you don't. So this is my gradient. So let's take a look at what the gradient this comes up with. So you see the gradient difference, the difference in gradient here. This gradient here is probably if you're stepping back and looking at everything on a macro level, this is probably a more accurate way of making a gradient, because the gradient picker here, helper, this gradient helper doesn't care about what type of block it is. It will use all kinds of blocks. So for this one here, it didn't pick any kind of what are they called? Kind of the blocks for like crafting tables or smithing tables. But it will do that. It will use any available block in-game that has the right color. And this is the way a lot of people build, and I there's no problem with building like that. It's totally fine. It's something that, I mean, it does add to this kind of seeing Minecraft as almost as pixel art, where you you focus on what you want to show in its entirety, and that's fine. I just, because of my roots in architecture, I just don't like it that much. It's not for me. I want to kind of, so I when I started out building like 10 years ago, or actually 15 years ago, but even 10 years ago, or even 6 or 7 years ago, I didn't texture at all. I didn't do any of this. I in my mind, in architecture, we value, in like modern architecture, we value simplicity and kind of minimalism, and also kind of using as few kind of materials as possible. And this is fine for a lot of some architectural styles, but when it comes to Minecraft, even for modern styles in Minecraft, it works much better to have some kind of texturing going on. Just to kind of, because if you look at a wall, it's not just a stone brick color. It will have some kind of subtle differences and leaks from rain or anything that kind of changes the way an outer wall looks. So there are so many things that you think about it as a yellow wall or as a red wall, but if you look closer, you can see there are so many nuances, and this is what texturing can bring to a wall that's simple. You can kind of add this sense of realism, or an abstract form of realism that may be an oxymoron, but you know what I mean. But I like to I am kind of learning to kind of, I have learned to texture, but I still want to kind of keep it a bit, I don't enjoy using weird blocks, just to say it out, just to say it plainly. I like using kind of this gradient I've done here is much more appealing to me than this gradient, even though this gradient might be more precise from a distance, if you see it. I like a gradient that is as beautiful as like up close as it is from a distance. Something that you can kind of walk up to and yeah, it looks nice. I don't want to see a lot of crafting tables or stuff like that inside my inside my build. And I am not saying, again, this is just a personal preference. All people should kind of builders should build like they want to build. It's just a personal thing. So Molina, your channel is my go-to for color schemes and gradients. Thank you. I mean, that is incredible. I don't consider myself as proficient as others when it comes to gradients. This is actually something I have had to learn, and I had to kind of add to my kind of the way I build. So it's definitely not something I feel as well versed in as a lot of other ways of building. But I'm happy that you actually feel that you can use what I'm doing when it comes to stuff like that. That's awesome. So Illusion, whoa! First time seeing your stream live with Facecam. How's it going? It's going great. As I've been saying to the stream or to the chat, I feel like I just started the stream, and it's been how much? What's it? Is it 1.5 hour? 1 hour and 40 minutes or something? I mean, last stream was 3.5 hours, and it felt like nothing. I mean, I don't understand why, really, because I was actually dreading that the time would move too slowly, but just being able to build here and talk to you, it's actually time just flies by. It's actually incredible, and it is fun too. I must say, it is also fun because I was thinking, should I show my face? Is that weird, or is that I don't know. I just I like, because I'm, as Myth has mentioned before, I tend to kind of use my hands a lot when I speak, and when I use my hands, I'm not using my mouth to build. So that's kind of the downside. Hey, Sandy. Yeah, the stream is fun and time flies. Exactly, that is true. And you like to talk. I do like to talk. You like to talk too, Sandy. It's not just me. You look great. Thank you. Thank you. I mean, I actually, last time I streamed, I was actually really tired. Perhaps you couldn't tell because you never seen me before. But when I look back on that stream, I just felt really tired, and so I'm definitely more It's too weird of a word, Myth. Gesticulating. It's a tongue twister. Yes. Yeah, you gotta make me blush. Yeah, my face is already a bit red, so maybe you can see when I'm blushing. Just a yapper. Well, are you talking about me? Hey, Stonks. Hello. Great to see you here. Yeah, so I'm just, okay. I know I removed all this before, but I'm just doing this to... So I want to see the build in its entirety now, just to see all of the volumes and how big they will end up being. I really want to see the scale of it just for a moment, and we can just go back and remove everything. Not everything, but some of it. Oh, now look at that! I accidentally made windows. It looks like a modern kind of skyscraper or something. Okay. This is fine for now. Let's go over here. I woke up late for the night stream. Yeah. I mean, it's I have to keep in mind that people live in all kinds of places, and that's just a thing you have to get used to. That some people, it's just always very different. Another thing I had to get used to, because I have been speaking a lot with Sandy and Sandy Sparkles, and she lives on the the southern hemisphere, and like with people from Australia and in general from the southern hemisphere, just the thought of having everything flipped in terms of the seasons, that's also a weird thing, I think, just to think about. I mean, I know it's not weird for you guys, but I've never really had any kind of friends from that part of the world, really. So it's, of course, it makes sense, but it's just a weird thing that I never did think about that much early in life. So that's also another thing that's cool when talking about summer and winter and how everything is inverted. Does the map seed offer inspiration, or do you do a lot of terraforming to get your desired results? Nex is asking me. I am not a big fan of terraforming. I have done terraforming in several of my builds, but I actually love just going out and finding a seed. So if you're seeing the thumbnail of this build, you can see that I've drawn upon a terrain that was already there, and that terrain is the one you can see on the left in the circle. I don't know if it's showing now the thumbnail, but yeah, I mean, I try to kind of use what's already there, so that's what I've been doing. So the last stream was all about laying out these kind of the footprint of the build, because the thing about building on a mountain like this, there's so many decisions that will be decided for you before you even build. And I think that's a good thing, because you follow all these shapes to kind of create the towers. So in that way, you don't have to kind of make a lot of decisions. The decisions are actually made for you in a lot of ways. So when drawing upon when I drew the kind of the sketch you can see in the thumbnail, it was literally just taking a screenshot and then just making kind of rough shapes that followed the mountains, the peaks. And it is also a lazy way of doing it, because you don't have to terraform. Then you can just concentrate on building. And that's also nice, I think. So one thing I did think about here is that the bridge doesn't really, depending on how wide I want it to be. I think I want it to be as wide as I'm showing here, but it actually doesn't connect to anything here. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna build the. So I'm gonna use this part here of the mountain, and then simply. I will find the. So this should actually connect to the outside. So I can actually do something like this. And it will actually connect on this side. And then, I mean, depending on what I end up doing, I could. So this, okay. A cool thing you can do, which is one of the things I did with Crestling Castle, which is if you don't have, sometimes you kind of want to create something and there's no terrain. So if you look at on the back, I can't remember when I showed it, but at some point during the time lapse of Crestling Castle, I showed the backside of it, and there's actually a place where there is no mountain. So I just made a big bridge on that side. So for this build here, there's actually like a miniature version of that, where I can kind of create more space or more kind of volume just by creating a small bridge. Yes, let's try that. So I want this part here where it kind of connects to be a bit bigger. So instead of just creating this small piece here, I want there to be a bit more volume on this side. I think that makes it more balanced. So what I want to do is to kind of use this mountain over here and simply use this the same kind of so this part here, use that this aligns with this one, and then I can use this one as a jumping off point for the next part. Let's see. So here we can just connect this. I'm just doing this just to see, kind of to show the outline. But yeah, now we have this part, and then we can make some kind of arch here, like a smaller one. And this is also a way of kind of creating detail where there's a purpose of the arch here, the kind of the structure is there for a reason. It's because there isn't any kind of a structure below here. So, and this is also a thing with Axiom. Just a quick thing you can do is to use the infinite reach. I hate using it because I don't want to look over there and place a block and then I can't find the block. I hate that. But if you want to, you can use it and then you can kind of place blocks like this. But I tend to not use any of these really. Maybe the bulldozer, but I try not. I try to keep it. This is also another thing. The Tinker tool. This is one of those tools that has, I think this tool has kind of shaped the way a lot of people are building. So what it can do is basically like is it the debug stick, I think it's called, or debug, something like that. And the way that works, it's a bit like this one. But what you can do with that is right click when this is turned on, and then you can shape these blocks like this, and also blocks like full blocks. You can change it to a staircase or a slab, something like this. And this is a way of kind of creating. It's a way of creating details you couldn't make in normal Minecraft, because I mean you could do it with a debug stick perhaps, but not in a survival playthrough, for instance. And I think it's a cool tool to use, but I don't use it that much myself. I usually want to have something that can be recreated in survival, and that's just a kind of a choice I made for myself. And again, like most things, it's not something I expect others to do. And I even think that people that do kind of take advantage of these tools, they make some awesome stuff. So it's simply like a personal preference of mine. Let's see. Yeah, the season being backwards is a bit crazy. And Elman Pro is saying, "Hi, dude. My friend and I." My friend and I are building a huge the mausoleum from your tutorial in survival. Any advice? We already have done part 1. I mean, take breaks if you get burned out and feel like it's too big of a build, then just take some breaks and build something else. I think it's fine to just take it slow and not burn yourself out, because it can be a bit difficult sometimes with these large builds. And if you need help, then definitely go to Sixcord, my Discord, where you can kind of have dedicated channels for each build. So if you want to kind of get some feedback, just come there and people will be happy to kind of help you. Just if there's something you don't understand, or anything that kind of feels anything that you need help with, basically. Okay. Let's see. So now we have this one here, and I'll probably do something a bit similar over here, just with it doesn't connect really, but just a little party trick. What you can do is with this quick place function, you can actually fall down and do this. Well, I mean, with Axiom in general, you don't need it really, but it's quite cool. Okay. I'm just gonna raise this up, and then we can let's see. Yeah, okay. Okay. Let's just take this up to this point here. Well. Okay. Myth, you're saying, remember, if you enjoy the stream, feel free to give it a like. Yes, do that. I'll be very grateful for any likes, or just people coming here and saying hi is also nice. Okay, I'll just quickly erase these two here. And I mean, so I don't know if Rebecca is still here, but she was asking about kind of oh, look at what I did. Come on. Okay. She asked about kind of large scale builds, and if I have any kind of tips for kind of approaching kind of the proportions of large scale builds. And it is really difficult. I think it can be really difficult. But oh, I'm doing it again. Actually, I think I'm doing it again. I think it depends on what build. I mean, all builds are different. But I think kind of going back and forth, trying to get the kind of the full view of something like this, it's really helpful just to have an idea of the proportions of everything. So right now I have there's nothing on the back side here, so this will be bigger than this one here, but I might actually, so I think in the sketch I had kind of, oh, you're still here, Rebecca, awesome. I had a tower over here to kind of add some balance, so I think that might help, because I mean, I think it's fine to have something a bit being a bit unbalanced sometimes. It can create tension. So if this part here is bigger than this part here, I don't think it matters. And sometimes these kind of weird things with proportions can actually help you, where it might not be kind of a big what am I trying to say? It might not be perfectly proportional. But because in real life, if you're building on a location, you're restricted in so many ways. And this is just how real life building works for a lot of things. And also, especially for castles that were built over many years, perhaps, or yeah. And then things were added. Maybe there was maybe parts of the castle gets destroyed in a war or because of poor planning or poor building. And then you maybe you don't have enough material of one kind of material for some of the buildings, so you switch to another, and maybe one part of the location has dirt or kind of isn't made for kind of a heavy structure, so you have to kind of move some of the structures to the other part of the mountain. Or I'm just listing off kind of random stuff, but there are so many ways that the location can have a kind of kind of shape the way everything is built. So I think it's actually nice to kind of use that as a good thing. So you actually create something that is a bit imperfect, and you just use what you have and try and maybe create a parts of it that is destroyed in a certain way, or some discoloring, or there's so many ways of doing it. I'm just being general, but I think you get my point. It's okay to not be perfect with a lot of this. Can you send that in the chat? I can't copy it right now. Okay, it's not to me, I think. Yeah. Hi, have a nice day. Hey, Elman Pro, thank you for coming. It was nice to see you. Flaws create character. That is true. That is true. I think that yeah. I mean, it's so I am a. I can be a bit. This is also a thing that can be difficult for me to kind of make these imperfect things because I do kind of want. I always try to kind of make start by creating a clean version of the build. So I always have the clean version that I know is kind of the perfect version. I do this for several reasons. Just to have, I want to have that reference for later use if I want to go back or change something, or yeah, that kind of there are kind of situations where I would want to go back and maybe change stuff, or just for peace of mind, having the original structure in a clean form. But yeah, I tend to be a bit too rigid in the way I build. So yeah, I think that's definitely something I have needed to work on for a lot of my builds. So, Myth, you're saying that 10 streams might have been a bit off, given how much you've done. I mean, so that's another thing. I am actually tricking you into thinking that I got far this stream, because the thing is, when I build, it can sometimes feel like I am creating like 80% very early, and then the last 20% kind of the build, kind of in the way it looks, is actually takes much longer to build because of the detailing and the interior and all the things that needs to be to kind of be added. That needs to be added. I felt that way about the Golden Palace. If you've seen that video, kind of the rough structure was actually done fairly early, and then everything else was just working with kind of the general the detailing, and yeah, it can feel like you're kind of stagnating at some point, but that's just how it is, because detailing is in its nature working on small things at a time. So I think that's totally fine. Okay, I'm just gonna, I don't know how tall this part should be, but, and again, all of what I'm doing here, this can be or might be changed later. I don't know yet. This is I just really want to see everything kind of take shape in a way that where I can see the I really want to see the kind of the general shape of it, and maybe have that as a kind of a jumping off point for the next stream. I would rather have that, and then instead of just going too much into detail at once, and then but I do like this back and forth where I've created some kind of detail like this, and then I kind of get a sense of what is appropriate for this scale and how detailed can it be while building, and then I zoom out a bit and just look at it as kind of a large structure, and already you can kind of almost kind of get a feeling of the shape. I mean, you can almost see that this it reminds it is a bit like Crystalline Castle, and that's why I want to add this more reddish color, because the Crystalline Castle, there are some bricks in it, but it's more of a mud brick build, and I definitely don't want to make a copy of that build. So that's why I want to have it a bit more kind of a bit more kind of saturated in color. But yeah, let's just raise some of the volumes and then see. Wow, yes, Marinek. I don't know how to pronounce your name, but yeah, this is it's beginning to take shape. Sandy said like 5 streams. Okay, I mean, I might even, 10 streams might not even be that unrealistic. We'll have to see. Yeah. Over the past 2 years in my 13 years survival world, I built a monastery and mausoleum. Absolutely beautiful structures. Thank you so much. That is a long time to have a survival world. But I guess that's the thing about these old survival worlds. It's just you just get I suppose you just get much more attached to everything in them, and there's so much history. You can probably look at every part of that world, and just remember each kind of build you placed and what happened, which year that was, and I'm guessing that's really rewarding. I mean, I have some old worlds and I want to get back to, but it's just, there are so many things to kind of keep up with, so yeah, I do need to do it soon. Shaders makes everything 10 times better, and that says something with your builds. Thank you. Well, I mean, it is true, and I mean, I think there are ways to building where you can kind of play into the more kind of vanilla-ish look, where it doesn't. Well, I mean, it probably looks better with shaders, but I mean, I think a good kind of approach is to try and make everything look good without shaders, and then the shaders are kind of the icing on top of the cake. 13 years is crazy, it is, but that's great. I think it's awesome to just keep that. So that brings me to another question. What do you think about with builders on YouTube and streamers, and not builders in general, but streamers and kind of let's play YouTubers, when they say they're gonna make these forever worlds? I know it's a trend at the moment, or it's been for a while probably, and maybe you're much more into that than I am, and but is it a thing? Do you think most people will kind of keep to that forever world and not just starting a new one, or is it what? I'm actually curious what you think. If it's something that that's really realistic for a content creator. I don't know, maybe. Okay. Just to make it easy, I'll remove. I think typically yes, but yeah. I mean, I'm not saying this to kind of throw shade at anybody, because I mean, I just don't know. I mean, it's just when something is a trend, I'm just curious if it's. But yeah, I of course hope that if it's something they set out to do, that they will continue that. Yeah, not sure for content creators. I guess you'd either have to love it. Yeah, I mean, I would say that yeah, the views too. I think, I mean, it's difficult to tell, because when it comes to like what brings in the views, I would hope that, yeah, I can only speak for myself, but I think that you're really lucky if you can make the content you really like to do, and then also have that content be what is most popular. I mean, that's just extremely lucky and great for you. I mean, it's so Rebecca, you're saying, I think it's more of a fad for creators. Maybe they keep playing it private, but forever series doesn't seem realistic. Yeah, maybe, I don't know, perhaps not. I'm not sure actually. Yeah, but yeah, I think I was just gonna say that when it comes to I mean, in general, when it comes to doing YouTube or streaming or whatever, having some videos be less popular, that is almost inevitable. And the kind of to look at it from a more balanced perspective, I think having some videos that you can make that really makes you happy, or even most of the videos, and then just accepting that they won't be the big view bringers, you would say. They will, yeah, it will be it might be other videos that kind of will give your channel views. That is probably the the reality for most YouTubers or streamers, or YouTubers, I would say, because it's just not realistic to have every single kind of video you're making be popular. Molina, there was a problem with all my save stuff when Mojang changed all the block structure. Had to say goodbye and start again. Oh, that's a shame. And Noobno, I really love all your buildings. I'm glad to watch you finally streaming. Thank you. I'm glad you're here. It's so fun to kind of. It's fun to try streaming. I think this is my second stream, and I think it's been really great. So for this arch here, I will do the same as we did before. Actually, I will do the same and what we did before with the big one was to kind of create a 2D version of it, and then simply. I say simply. I mean, not necessarily simple, but I create the arch here and then apply it to this structure. So I might do something like this and then add. So it's much easier on this scale here. This is much easier. So here you can just much easier just place the blocks in a more kind of even fashion, but more. It's much easier to just find the right curvature of the arch. So this one, it might need a little bit more here. It's amazing just watching and listening and seeing how his mind works with it. I mean, is it? Thank you, Myth, but I'm also a bit a confused person. Sometimes I don't pay attention, and I just. So earlier in the stream, I was just yapping along and on full screen like this, just flailing about with my arms and talking about stuff happening on screen, and nobody had any idea of what I was doing because I was on full screen. So yeah, that's the stuff that happens when you don't know what you're doing. But yeah, it's okay. It's okay to be to learn while you're doing it. And that's one thing that my friend Sandy, who's just returned, said to me that I think is important, is to kind of have fun with kind of if you're doing something that's if you forget something or are making mistakes, then just roll with it and just have fun with it, and don't worry too much. Rather, I think it's more fun to just address what you're doing wrong and then making it a part of the stream in a sense. But yeah, right now I have tried to make it as simple as I possibly could. But with added camera, so I don't have any extra kind of I don't have the chat on screen. I don't have kind of any kind of noises for donations or stuff like that. I try to kind of keep it more simple in the beginning, so there's not too much to worry about. And yeah, I think one of the things that went wrong the last time was I think I set the bitrate way too high, so there was a problem with people not being able to it was laggy at some point, and that should be fixed now. For hopefully. So this here is one of the things I usually don't like as much, and this is when everything is kind of becomes this so a bit janky and a bit how would you put it? A bit messy. I like things a bit more neat. But yeah, this needs to be so Blackpink says next to the Emberheart Castle, we're also building a huge storage room for large blocks in the game. So I'm impressed your patience to come up with builds and make tutorials. Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, it is a bit, I would say it's a bit, you need patience. And with these projects I'm doing for all of this, it is something I do over a long period of time, and it can be a month, it can be 2 months. I mean, the Utgard build, the original one, that was made over the course of 2 months, like full-time work, where the first month was all about the time lapse, and then the second month was the cinematic, or the short film, because I just spent so much time making the video. So yeah, it is kind of I'm in it for the long haul with all of these kinds of videos and builds. But I think I'm used to doing it because of the way I'm used to kind of large projects for my main work, or as an architect. So with that I also have long periods of time where I just work on one project, and I think that's you definitely get used to that, and I don't mind it, especially with stuff I really enjoy doing, and a project like this, or the next one I'm building. I'm actually starting a new project soon. It's kind of different from anything else I've ever built, so you can look forward to that. The thought one was better. He just wants to produce high quality content. Yeah, I do, Sandy. We dropped the frame rate from 20,000 to 8,000. Yeah, I have no idea why it was at 20,000. It was way too high. Yeah. I want to make Utgard in my world, but it will be a pain to get the materials. Yes. So the thing is with Utgard is that if you're doing the one that's not as textured, the one that only is textured with deep slate bricks, which I think is actually almost as nice as the full kind of the radiant version, or what you would call it. I think you can do that, and then you basically only need to mine deep slate, and then maybe of course some snow and stuff like that. But yeah, this one is much easier to mine if you go that route. But I mean, it depends on how ambitious you are. It's going to be great. That's all I'll say. So Myth has actually revealed that she knows a bit more than some of you guys, or most, actually all of you guys, because I just showed her some of the rough. So the thing I needed to find out with my new build is that because it's a really different build from anything I've built before, I need to kind of be sure what the time of day and everything, how I'm going to show everything, and with what the shaders I'm going to use. I need to kind of figure that out beforehand to kind of have an idea of the kind of the look of the build and kind of the scale of it, because this build, the next one I'm making, will be bigger than anything I've done before. It will be and also different from anything I've done before in a lot of ways. So it's going to be exciting. It's a bit out of my comfort zone, but I think just kind of getting into the mood of doing that type of build, I think that it will be. It's probably going to be great, but I hope so. But it's definitely different. Will you be upgrading this world to snapshot to use latest bugs? Exactly, Sandy. That's I mentioned this earlier. I do want to do that, and I don't know when. So do we know when it's the full update will be out? Because I would probably add that block when it's possible. But yeah, I think it's actually had that block in mind, the Cinnabar block, when designing this. Not when designing it, but when sketching it's not really design, but kind of the rough shapes of the build came in place. Mods don't update to snapshot, so most likely no. Yeah, that's the thing, Stongs. The thing is that yeah, I mean, a lot of the mods I'm using here will be won't be updated to snapshots, so I might need to wait. But I mean, that's fine. I mean, I can always kind of substitute some of the blocks for that one, that block type instead. That's fine. I think that's it can be an addition later. So Sandy, why are you able to kind of sneakily watch me and still be, because I know that you also had other stuff to do. I hope I don't distract you too much from the other stuff. Awesome. Then you can make the TNT launcher we played with. Yes, I can make this into a giant TNT launcher. I was on a stream with Sandy and some of her friends where we kind of tried out some of the new things with kind of the I can't remember what exactly, all the new things added to the snapshot, and I made a TNT launcher. Actually, it was you that made the TNT launcher, and I just created the kind of a half-assed kind of a pillar or something, and then yeah. But it was fun. It was definitely fun. Okay, now I will copy this over here just to see how it will kind of connect. I think this one will need to kind of connect somewhere over here. Yeah. Probably here, maybe. Yeah. Something like this. Let's take a look. Something like this. I mean, it doesn't matter that this isn't perfect yet. This is just to have a rough idea of. Yes, so I'm social, talk to people, then put on my earbuds, and then pop and check. Oh, that's awesome! I'm glad that you're able to just be part of it. Okay. Let's just. So I'm just making the. So the thing is, before closing, I'm not about to close off just yet, but I do want to kind of. Do want to kind of get far enough into the build so we can kind of have something that it doesn't need to look finished at all, but I do want to have it kind of the rough shapes be in place if I can. Okay. Hey, what's up, dude? Your builds are amazing. Will you ever do a tutorial for the Echelon? I will do a tutorial for the Echelon. The thing is, it's just there's just so many builds to do tutorials for, and I mean, to be, I mean, the Echelon is actually one of my personal favorites, and I have kind of promised to do another one before that one, but I think I'm not promising anything. But so the next one, I think that will be the first cathedral, because it scored the second highest in the poll I made, and then the Echelon, it wasn't rated that high, but it's one of those builds that I myself enjoy, and I don't want to, like, I do want to, so the poll was meant for maybe one or a couple of builds. It wasn't meant to kind of be a guide for all the builds that I ever build going forward. So yeah, I definitely just it's a rough guide, and then I also want to I want to make the tutorials that I want to make too. So I also need to have, because honestly, so I did enjoy making Utgard, but it's definitely not one of the easier tutorials to make. It is a rough one too, because it's just so different, and it's all about texturing and the kind of the fractures of the build, and not about the detailing like per se. So, and which is fine. This is totally fine. It's just a build like the first cathedral or the Echelon, or even the new one I made, the Golden Palace, is much easier to kind of translate into a tutorial. So I would rather do that, definitely. Good evening from Bulgaria. Good evening, Decoded. Welcome. There's a pirated download on. Yeah, don't mention that. I think I know that there's stuff like that happening, but yeah, just don't mention that. The new favorite build from the ASMR. Yes, the one from. It is called the Golden Palace, but I did a kind of for the first time I tried this function. You know all about that, Sandy, the A/B testing function, and I think it was almost equal as to which one was preferred by viewers in general. So I think they were almost at 50% each, but somehow I like the simplicity of the thumbnail without any text on it, and then I actually also like the more simple kind of a title for it. But I mean, yeah, people actually don't know the name of it, so I might actually add Golden Palace back into it. Yeah, we'll have to see about that. It reminds me of the Sanctum, and it looks absolutely amazing. Me, a good friend of mine, spent a long time on a survival server building the Sanctum, and the process was so satisfying. Thank you so much. Yeah. I mean, the Echelon was definitely an offshoot, or kind of a. It was the Sanctum was definitely kind of a jumping off point, you could say, for that build, or kind of a guide for just the rough kind of the scale of it, even though the build is a lot different. And yeah, one of the things I can tell you this, one of the things I actually did for the Echelon that I kind of so I did it as kind of so people they have been asking a lot about, I mean, why don't you do interiors for some of the builds like the Sanctum or the Mausoleum? And I keep saying that, I mean, that they are made for they're meant to be kind of cathedrals, and the kind of the how would you put it, the idea or the function of a cathedral is in many ways to have this awe-inspiring look up at the interior, this large scaled interior that is awe-inspiring, and you kind of feel small compared to it. And that is kind of the idea of these two builds, even though they're meant to be set in a fantasy world that aren't meant to be taken as a kind of literal church or anything from real life. By the way, I will remove this. I don't need that part. So yeah, I think just the idea of having something that is kind of it's meant to be this much inspiring kind of a room, and I think in a way I kind of ended up so people ended up kind of asking me, why don't you create more kind of interior stuff for these parts or these buildings? And that was my explanation. But then I figured that for later builds, I figured that I might actually try to incorporate that kind of feeling of something being kind of incorporate the sense of it being a big space that you can kind of walk into, but also kind of work as a base or something that is usable in Minecraft as instead of just being one big giant build that you really can't use for anything else. So yeah, the idea was to kind of combine those two kind of ideas, and I ended up making them. Just a second. Yeah, so I just need to see if this. Okay, let's try this first and see if this works. Okay. But yeah, I simply. So what I did was, if you look at that video, the original video from the time lapse from what is it called? The Echelon. The dome itself is created in a way where there's an inner dome and an outer dome, and that is depending on the structure in real life. there might not be an inner or outer dome. So the Pantheon in Rome, this is just one construction. It's not hollow. It's just made as one. But I tried to kind of use that construction inside. So there's an inner dome and an outer dome, and I kind of made this gap between the two domes. I made it bigger, so there was basically to make room for a much larger kind of interior space, while still having the sensation of walking into this giant room where you look up and it's beautiful, and you don't even realize that you're looking at the smaller dome inside. It looks like it's just all the way up to the ceiling, which it is in a way, but yeah, I did that to kind of make all people, like both camps, happy in a way, because I wanted it to be usable inside Minecraft as a base, basically, which is something I really like doing when building in general. That I really like the idea of having everything be like having everything be, how would you put it, be very be usable in survival, or in a place through where you kind of where you need rooms for like general things. So right now I'm just using the night vision mod, which is really cool. And I need to, just because all of this is actually, it needs to be moved inside, but I need to kind of find a way to do this without destroying what I've already made. So for now I'll just remove this big piece here, just for now, and then we can just add it later. Hello Six, huge fan of your work. I built the Sanctum of the Emerald Cathedral in Creative. A friend and I are currently building in the Lore Weaver's Keep from Timelapse in Survival. By the way, update hits the 16th of June. That is awesome. That's actually soon, so I can easily add what the blocks I need. So rainbows, that is incredible that you're actually building all that. You're building that. Yeah, you're building it from basically from by simply using the time lapse, and that is really that is. I mean, respect. That is difficult. It is. I mean, some people can do that, and they can just. I mean, just look at everything that's been placed, all the blocks, and just pause while they're building, and that is definitely something that's really valuable, just in general. So you don't actually need a tutorial, basically. I mean, you probably need it if you wanted to do it exactly like what I'm doing, because even in a time lapse, I don't show every single part of the build, and so that's probably a bit of guesswork, I'm guessing, but yeah, it is definitely impressive. Okay, let's try and move this part first. So we need to move it inside just a bit. I'm just taking a bit of it, not everything. Just maybe something like this. Just this part here. And we need to move it. So how far do we need to move it? Let's try 2 blocks. Let's see how many blocks we have here. So we have 1. Okay. It's easy to do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Okay. I usually try to build everything in an unequal number. And I mean, for this, it doesn't make a difference, because everything is angled, and so there are other stuff that won't line up. So it's just a general thing I like to do, but there are definitely kind of situations where it isn't necessary to do it all. So I mean, if it makes sense for a certain build, you can do it. So there are some kind of weird things happening here, but this is only on the inside, so this should be fine. So I should be able to just move this 2 blocks here. And then this should be fine. Hi chat, Umax says hi. Six Wings, I love you. I love you too. Friend of the villager. I mean, if you're friend with the villagers, then you must be a nice person. But yeah, it's I don't know how many of you have tried streaming. I know some of you have, but oh, I made a mistake. Just a small one. I can just but yeah, it is so going from making like videos exclusively and then going to start streaming. That definitely is a weird thing that you need to you have to get used to. And yeah, I don't know. I hope I'm doing fine. I think it's going fine. I think the most important part is to be comfortable while doing it, and I think both streams, this one and the last one, has been great. Okay, now I need to. You're doing fine. Take your time. Yeah. So the thing is, I need to figure out if I'm doing anything wrong here. I think the only way of copying this in the kind of correct way is to copy this part here and then flip it, or rotate it, because the arch underneath also needs to be similar. So I think if I do this and just rotate it, this should be fine. I'm guessing, well, not, it isn't. It isn't actually. Why is that? Or maybe there might be some kind of thing where it doesn't align fully. Let's see. Well, maybe we'll have to do. Okay, yeah, I can already see I have done a bit of. There's some parts of it that ended up being a bit weird. So you know what I'm gonna do? Here's the thing. I will remove all of this just for now, because I think we can add this later. I think it's easier to actually delete this now and just work with the upper part first and then add the lower part later. I think that's actually easier, because now otherwise I would need to kind of be sure that everything lines up, and then it's just a hassle to copy everything in a satisfying way. You really need to teach me how to use Axiom Wonder. Yeah, I mean, Sandy, I have tried. So, and you have tried a bit, and I think you know a bit, but I definitely want to show you more. We can always do that, my friend. And Emity, did I get 6 Axiom lessons before, Sandy? I don't know. I showed you some things for long ago, Emity. I can't remember when I did what. But I have been giving a couple of people lessons, and the thing is, I am not. I mean, if you want lessons, go watch Calvin, the builder. Well, he's just called Calvin. He is a great builder, and he is really good with. He's really good with everything when it comes to Axiom. He can. He has all sorts of tricks, and I am very. I mean, I'm a bit of a noob. Or at least the way I use Axiom is much more simple. These functions over here, I use them like 95% of the time, because I just like it more simple, basically. And there are so many ways you can use Axiom in a more advanced way, and so I'm not the right person for that. So I did earlier. I showed you the editor, and this is where you can actually use it much more like a 3D modeling software, and do all sorts of things with gradients and with terrain and terraforming. There's a lot of things you can do here. And I myself, this is only a thing, like a personal thing. I don't enjoy it that much. I really like to keep the kind of the feel of the vanilla way of playing, kind of keep that. So even when I'm building now, I try to kind of move around like I would in normal. Okay, it's not totally right, because I do use the flying tool that makes me faster, but but you probably know what I mean. I try to kind of keep everything a bit slow and measured, and try to build it in a way that is less like I'm using a piece of hardware, a piece of modeling software, and more like I'm just building in Minecraft with a couple of extra tools. Yeah. Rebecca, you're saying, if you're used to edited video streams can feel somewhat unfinished and unrefined. I guess it's just a different style, but frame of reference seems to impact people's opinion a lot. Yeah, that's definitely true. And Emily, you rely on World Edit more. I've been using it for years, so I'm more accustomed to it. I am too. I'm definitely more accustomed to World Edit. So, and I still use it. So when all of this is done, like the main building, I won't use. Axiom to texture. I will use brushes in World Edit to texture all of this, because I just feel that that is much more. I feel that is much more kind of. I don't know. I just more accustomed to that. In the same way that I use the replay mod for my videos more than flashback. It's also a preference thing. So right now you can see the kind of the shape of the. I'm not quite happy with the shape. It's a bit too kind of. It needs to be a bit smoother, but I think you could make a bridge like that, or kind of a bridge like that. It doesn't. It's not nothing wrong with that. I just think it's a bit too kind of, I don't know, a bit too straight up here and a bit too. The slope is too extreme here, I think. But we will do that at a later time. Now, this is just about getting the main structures right. So I want to kind of get this right. It looks, sometimes you just need to kind of step back and look at your build and kind of kind of feel good about it. Because now when seeing this, I can kind of picture it with the detailing, how this will become. And so I think it's definitely a good idea to kind of step back once in a while and just enjoy the look of the build. So just a quick thing, what I want to do now is just to align the walls here with the walls on the other side. So I want this wall here to be aligned with the one over here, and it isn't for some reason. I think it's because I rotated everything. So I need to have a wall here. So once I know that, I can just let's just copy this one here. And okay, so I think having, okay, let's try this. Let's try this here. So if we move everything, I'm trying to figure out the best way of doing it. Are you Danish? Yes, I'm. Is my accent giving it away? Can't escape the accent. Yeah. Hey, how long did it take you to learn to build on this scale, and where did you start? So I made a video about that. It's called Remaking My First Build. And what I'm saying in that video is basically that the way I started out all the way back in 2011. And when doing that, I started by, of course, back then you couldn't make builds very big. It was 64 blocks was the height of a build from sea level and upwards. And so I created this build that was way more minimalist. But then in 2015, I recreated that build because everything was raised a lot higher, and I recreated the same build but just much bigger, with no texturing at all. And I think everything came together when I started watching other Minecraft YouTubers, because I started watching. I didn't know a single Minecraft YouTuber before COVID, or during COVID even. Maybe I couldn't mention someone like Dream, or because of something I've heard, but I couldn't mention a single really Minecraft YouTuber. But then COVID hit, and after COVID in 2001, I started watching Hermitcraft other Minecraft YouTubers, and one of them was I mean, I watched a variety, but one of them was Mythical Sausage, and he I got a lot of inspiration for, even though he makes a lot small, the builds are a lot smaller than what I'm building, because he's mainly building in I think he's mainly doing actually what I saw with him was mainly what is it called? What am I trying to say? The hardcore streams. And so obviously he wouldn't build as kind of large as these structures here, but the way he was able to kind of detail everything in kind of, that made everything look so much more interesting, even though it was kind of smaller builds. I was so impressed by that. And so what I did was back in during that time, I took what I already knew about architecture and about building in Minecraft and kind of applied this level of detailing and texturing to my builds. And that's definitely where kind of, the scale of what I was doing kind of merged with the granular detail of a builder like Mythical Sausage. And so I think that was kind of the thing that unlocked this everything for me in a way that it didn't before. So I don't know. I suppose this is different for all builders, and some are much. I mean, maybe some other builders come to learn about Minecraft from a different route than I do. I suppose it's different for everyone. Yeah. How you do the first cathedral for the next tutorial? I've been looking for a good cathedral to build in my world. You know what? I'm pretty sure that will be the next tutorial. Yes, the first cathedral. So I do need to do another video first, and I'm not sure exactly when I'm going to start on that one, but it will be the next one. It will be. So hopefully you won't have to wait for that much longer. I'm gonna go to bed now. Oh, goodbye and good sleep well, Rebecca. It was awesome to have you here. I hope you hope you come back next week, same time next week. So this will be like a weekly stream for me. Hopefully it will continue for a long time, but yeah, this will be for now. This will be on every Thursday and at the same time as today. So yeah, good night. Greetings from the Netherlands. Hello, Thunderbird. Yeah, the Netherlands. I have actually. I don't think I've ever been to the Netherlands, which is really weird. It's so close. Oh, have I? I don't think so. I don't think I have really. But I did grow up. One of my oldest friends is from the Netherlands, and so one of the phrases I've heard over and over again was "binnenkomen eten." Yeah, you can probably understand what it means, but it means come home. Home is dinner, or come home. We need to eat, because of they needed to get home to eat. Fairly self-explanatory, right? So Myth, remember, if you enjoy the stream, you feel free to give it a like. Yes, thank you. Definitely do that. Great video about the Golden Palace. Thank you so much, Siren. Yeah, it was fun to make. I have made videos like that before, but I do really enjoy these kind of video essay style videos, you could probably call them, where I kind of get to build, but also get to kind of add some of my thought process, because while I do enjoy making other types of videos like time-lapse videos, stuff like that, that's really fun, but I do really like to kind of add my kind of a flair of my thought process of while building. I think that's very much yeah, a cool addition, a nice addition to what I'm doing with everything. Okay, let's try and have this piece here be moved. So this is another thing, and maybe we'll kind of change this later, but I told you earlier, guys, that I am a bit of a pedantic person when it comes to detailing. And this, because this is, so of course, looking at this as like a normal bridge, like this one here. This is a straight bridge. I like to make, I'm just throwing things. No. Idiot. Okay. I enjoy building things that are like a norm. What would you call it? Like straight angled builds. It's much easier and cleaner, in my opinion. So when building stuff like this, you have to contend with this structure here, this kind of shape, but also with this shape here. It's kind of angled that way, and that is why I just hated stuff like this. I hate. I would want, for this to look satisfactory to me, I would want to. I would want to add, like, remove this and add this one here, and have this be clean. And maybe there's a way of doing this in the final build that is what actually aligns in a way, because I just hate these kind of weird kind of parts here. Yeah. Can you make like a double bridge? Yeah, perhaps. I mean, it could be a double bridge. So I'll definitely make this bridge with an interior and an exterior or something like that. And maybe even, yeah, I don't know. But it could be, yeah. I'm not sure yet. It might be, there might be one kind of like main bridge with this kind of shape here. And then on top, there might be a bridge on top, kind of moving like an aqueduct or something like that. So you basically have a bridge on top of a bridge. Yeah, that might be a cool thing to add. Every builder's journey is different and fascinating. I personally did not know one could be a builder. While playing in SMP, I ended up joining a group of really good builders whom I learned from. Yeah, I don't know how. I mean, I suppose on SMPs, there are all sorts of different people with different strengths. Some are good at building, and some are more entertaining, and some are both. So yeah, there's definitely a variety there. The first cathedral is based on the first major build from years ago. Yes, the first cathedral. So some people have actually commented on that when it comes to the way I made that, because the style of it is different than the original cathedral, which is, yeah, technically the first cathedral. And the reason for that is that the original cathedral I made was very kind of minimalist, but it was minimalist because of, I mean, I couldn't make it really kind of detailed in the way that everything is. Yeah, I mean, in the way everything is. In Hi Felicia, Sandy, don't make me laugh. What was I completely lost my train of thought. Yeah. So in abstraction, the first build was meant to be more of a Gothic style build, if you could say it like that. And then I ended up making the new build. The new version is actually in a way, it's the build I wanted to make originally, if I could. I think that's probably the best way of looking at it. See, what's happening here is actually just a side note, because this one now aligns with this one here. It doesn't really add up to the way these are laid out, so I would probably need to actually move everything back. I don't think I want to do this just now. I can do this at a later point, but yeah, we'll see about that. Yo, I really appreciate your tutorials. I'm building good guard in my survival. It's already been 180 days in the world since I started. Now I'm 40 minutes into the third part. That's awesome. Be sure if you run into trouble, Chase, try and, if you can, join the Discord server, because there you can post images of all the, if there's a detail you're kind of having issues with or anything, just post it there, and because it's sometimes, yeah, it is much easier to help out if there's a specific thing you need. So yeah, you can see about that. If you're interested, you can just join. Yeah, you can make the grumpiest person laugh. Yeah, that's right, Sandy. You are a laugh bringer. That's a new word I just invented. Okay, let's just take a quick look at everything just to see how everything is coming together. So, I mean, the main shapes are in place. I think we need to have some towers on top over here and here, and maybe the Sandy's double bridge will be added. I'm not sure, but I think kind of scale-wise, we're not far off the final build. I mean, all of these will have towers and spires and stuff like that, but I think that's something we can add later. I think, I mean, I talked about balancing builds, and I think inevitably this build will be a bit unbalanced compared to, I mean, if you look at this part over here, it's much bigger than the one over here. And I think there are ways of actually, I think one way of kind of playing with asymmetry, it's a bit like what I did for the latest build, the Golden Palace. It's not quite the same principle, but there's a bit of a thing, because if you see this kind of from this side, it looks a bit unbalanced. So I probably would add a bit more over here, just a bit. But then I might actually create a taller tower here and a small tower here. So in that way, this will kind of balance out on top, and this will kind of be more kind of be lowered. So there's a different kind of balance. It's a kind of a more a thick and not as tall kind of castle or volume or build over here, and then this one will be much more slender and taller. So I think that this is another way of kind of balancing out two things that are kind of innately in balance. I don't think, yeah, well, might not do it today, but hey, Dippy, hello. You are a Nikolai. Hey, welcome, Nikolai. I also love the first cathedral, especially the small shout out in the very beginning of the video. Yes. Okay, I can actually say that Nikolai, he was one of my old friends that was actually part of the first server I was on. And that was actually the first time I ever played Minecraft was in survival on an SMP, which is kind of weird. I didn't play creative at all at the time. I just went on the server, went to the nearest desert and just took a spade, or what you use for mining sand, and just mined sand, like the most kind of a brain dead way of doing it. and just built my first cathedral, of the one in the video. And for some reason, I mean, it was a friend of a friend's server. So we just, I did kind of ask about, was it ever saved or anything? And yeah, we actually don't know if it was, probably not, but I do have these kind of, I did make models of the builds, the ones that I showed in that video, and I did make a couple of screenshots and stuff like that. So yeah, it is. There was kind of some leftover or some way of kind of salvaging what I had. But yeah, that's just how it is. Sometimes it's also nice to have something that you have memories of it, and it might not be something that you keep forever. So here I actually did the same what I did on the other side, and the idea is to kind of use whatever terrain there is to kind of create towers, and then just combine or kind of because I do want more volume on the top, kind of more space to just create the rooms that will be added here. So one way of doing that is just to kind of take advantage of every part of the build and just I mean, this bridge here could actually be lowered to down here. There's no need for this to be up here if I want to kind of add more space down here. But this is just a decision I can make, and we can change this later. And Debbie says, "Hi Six, I'm glad you're still streaming." Yeah, I mean, so I've streamed for 3 hours now, and I said to myself before that, because last stream was 3.5 hours, I said max at a maximum 3 hours. So and now here we are. So I think it won't be for that much longer, unfortunately, but a bit more. I can stay on a bit more. Okay, who else? It's not going as fast as in the beginning. It's actually nice to be able to keep up with the chat. So in a way, it's actually perfect to just keep it a bit. I mean, for people that are really big on YouTube or Twitch, it's kind of, I don't know. I imagine, so I don't watch that many streams, but I'd imagine that it's a bit. Of course, it's nice to take part of it in a big stream, but I mean, your comment will just be lost between hundreds of comments, and that's just how it is. I think he might say, saying earlier that the texturing might be. Give me the win so we can show. Okay, yeah. So the thing is, at Myth and Sandy, they have kind of talked about how many streams it takes for me to finish this build, and from what I understood, they were a bit pessimistic of my ability to actually finish this build in less than, I don't know how many episodes, but and that's why I wanted to kind of create the overall shape and have that be. I mean, this is not that far from the thumbnail of the video. I did place a bit of kind of detail on top, but yeah, I think we're not that far off. Okay. But yeah, I have decided to stream each Thursday at the same time as today. And just keep going and see how that works out. I know that some people will stream at the same time as I do, and but the problem is the more people you know who streams, at some point you will just inevitably, you will overlap with other people. So Dippy, you have streamed today. You told me that you streamed today. So of course that's a bit unfortunate that you can't. I mean, ideally you would want to be able to see all your friends and favorite streamers. But yeah, that's just not possible. What is this weird? Yeah, it is weird looking, isn't it? Or is it just me? Maybe I'm just tired. No, it is. Yeah, this is definitely symmetrical. Yeah, I guess I'm just tired. Okay. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, for a build like this, the most important thing I think is to kind of have an idea of the overall shapes, because after doing all of this, I mean, it's fairly, I would say it's straightforward, but I mean, you could apply one kind of way of detailing, something like this. Apply these arches to some of these kind of I mean, everything doesn't need these extra detail, but maybe these inner walls here will be more detailed than the walls here. And I really enjoy this kind of emergent way of building where some of it is planned, but other stuff isn't. So I do have a rough idea of the shape of it, but I don't know how everything will be kind of I mean, a lot of these details will kind of reveal themselves when building. So I really like that that tension between building something that you know what it's gonna be like, but you don't know the final result, which is also more exciting for me than building something out of with Mathematica. Even though, of course, for some things like, I mean, for something like time-lapse videos, I usually, not for all builds, but for some builds, like a build like the Echelon or the First Cathedral, I did design, well, the Echelon, let's take that. I did more or less design that before I even made the time-lapse. And I mean, for some builds, it's just easier that way because that one is a build that it is very precise. Everything is kind of has to be lined up perfectly and be in place. So it's not as easy to just freestyle. Whereas a build like this one here, or the like Crestling Castle, those are actually made up on the spot, more or less. Also in general, my castle builds are made up on the spot, and the only guide I have is kind of these rough shapes, and then everything else is just added. And I think that's more fun when it comes to kind of it's more fun when it comes to not knowing what you're building. I think that's I find that much more I don't know, more appealing in a way. Instead of just following the Mathematica. And I'm not saying this to put shade on anybody, because building from my tutorials, that will inevitably be, I mean, that will be just repeating something other people, or something I have built. So that is, of course, totally fine. I'm just speaking from my own kind of preference when designing something new that hasn't been designed before. It's looking good, thank you. I think I probably need to leave soonish. Yeah, I've done a lot. I mean, I have done a lot. I did some so Sandy, you probably wasn't here when it happened, but you told me, actually it was a good kind of it was actually a good tip you gave me, was to kind of, because I was talking a lot last stream without anything happening on screen, so you suggested going full screen when I'm kind of explaining stuff, so it's more interesting to kind of instead of just looking like at a wall that's just there without anything happening. And I did that, but then I just forgot to kind of turn on the Minecraft footage, and I just started yapping about some detail, and people were just spamming me, "The camera, you're on camera." So yeah, I definitely need to kind of get used to that. But you know what? I don't want to do this just now. I actually think, yeah, we did accomplish a lot. Let's just have a look here. Maybe I'll just have a look with a bit less a bit less of field of view. I think it looks better that way. And just have a look at the overall shape. And I think, next time I think we can just begin to kind of detail all of this. And I think I'll try and make the exterior first, and then I can kind of add the interior after. But I think it's actually beginning to kind of look Oh, you're asking. I have a lot of projects, pictures. There's a limit to how many pictures you can send. I mean, you can on the Discord. You can just share you can share one post with several images if you want to. I mean, there's not a limit per se. I mean, spamming is always a bit can be a bit much, but of course you can just add what you want to if you have something you need. I mean, it's always nice to see what people build and just adding different that builds from just anything that you find interesting to kind of share. I think that's a good idea to share. But I think this is actually, I think the build is really interesting from a lot of angles. I haven't really looked at it from this angle, but I definitely think there's interesting parts of it. And I might even so I think it could be cool to kind of arrive from here, and then maybe there's a bridge going from this part, the house here, over here, maybe. So you kind of go in, move upwards, go over the bridge, and so on. For your second stream, you're doing well. Thank you, Sandy. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, it's. I think I don't know. Maybe I even distracted myself earlier before I even got to say it. But what I wanted to say was the most important thing with these streams is to just be comfortable and have fun. Because if you're having fun and you're comfortable, then you can just, build and talk to the chat. And it does. I mean, everything doesn't have to be perfect. It's nice to be able to kind of have fun with all the little quirks and things happening. June, hello. I don't think I've seen you on this stream, but welcome. I'm actually starting. Oh, I'm at the beginning of the end of the stream. I just told the others earlier that, I mean, in general, just the streaming is everything. The time flies so quickly. It's insane. I think it's it feels like double, like twice as fast as kind of as it is. It feels that fast. I mean, 3 hours is nothing. I mean, I could probably just stream like throughout a day, early in the day, and then just stream the whole day. I mean, Sandy, you can probably attest to that. That of course some streams. So Sandy, your streams are can be very very chaotic, and you're streaming with your friends, and you are just talking, and all sorts of kind of crazy stuff is happening. So that might be, you might feel the kind of the exhaustion a bit more than I am, because this is a bit more of a relaxed stream. I do talk a lot, but it is still kind of I mean, it's just me and the chat, so I can see that being more exhausting to do what you're doing. So maybe 3 hours is actually about right for your kind of streams. I don't know, but yeah, it definitely feels like 3 hours is. I mean, it's fine, but it's definitely not a long time for me. And I could go all day, because the build. The thing is, when I'm building for a time lapse or anything else, I'm building for hundreds and hundreds of hours on one build, because it's just like weeks and weeks, and maybe even months, full time, just working on builds and videos. So 3 hours is nothing for just building. It's nothing. It's not. It's just a drop in the bucket. So yeah, it's I think that's part of it. Why it feels so. It feels so like such a short time in general. Yes, yeah, it's definitely fun, Sandy. It is. It definitely is. So 4 or 5 hours also feels so easy. I don't know how you feel. If you feel that too, yeah, maybe. I mean, I could probably go on for 2 more hours, and it won't. I mean, I probably would get tired. But yeah, just in general, it's not like I'm exhausted in mentally. I mean, it's fun kind of talking to you and just building, and so yeah, it's definitely something that we will continue with. And I say this completely serious. A 4-hour stream would suit your style a lot. Yes, I mean, it's also, I'd also want to be able to go to bed at some point. But I do think, so I mentioned this to Sandy a while ago, that because I have these kind of scheduled streams, it could also be fun to just like make impromptu streams during the day, where I do have a lot of time, because usually during the day I work from 9 to 4-ish, depending on the day. And if I'm doing something that is actually streamable, or something that where I'm working on something that is just a bit of casual talking, then I might just do that, and then it's actually, I could stream for a longer time. That's actually something I could do. But here in the evening, as it is now, I mean, I could do more, and I could also maybe start a bit earlier, maybe. So yeah, we'll have to see about that. For now, I think 3 hours, 3.5 maybe. We'll try and keep it around that, so it's not too much. Just 1 second. Did I miss one here? You sent your pictures. Oh, that's awesome. You in the chat, in the Discord. Definitely do that. And can you give a little shout out to my boys, Paul and Adam? Hey, Paul and Adam. I hope you're doing well. I assume that's your good friends. Is it okay to see about up close? Or you want to see this up close? Or maybe you haven't seen it yet. So there's no detail really. So if you see this, the only detail I really have made for this one here is this these kind of arches here. And this is just copied all the way over. So just to kind of go back to the first thing I said in the stream, during the stream, was sometimes it's nice, if you're building these large builds, it's really nice to kind of zoom in and kind of create small details, just to kind of get a feel for the scale of the build. So you can kind of go in here, and when you start to kind of detail a kind of a section like this, you begin to kind of feel the build in a different way, where you can kind of I don't know how to explain it, but you kind of get a sense of the scale of it and what is possible. And then you can zoom back and kind of build more in a more rough way, and then go back and forth. I think that's a good way of doing it. It's a good way of also changing. If you're burning out while building a large building, it's also a good way of kind of jumping back and forth that way. I think that also helps. Sixpence co-working streams stonks. Yeah. That could actually be a fun title. I'm proud of how far you've gotten. We're all proud of keep up with the worm. I think you meant work, but I will keep up with the work. Yeah, you said work. You changed it. I think this is a nice shot to kind of end on in a bit. You can do another 2 hours, but you'll be exhausted. Yeah. You know that, Sandy. You know how it can be if you're, because I need to wind down a bit. I need some time after the stream to just take it slowly and just so that I definitely need that. And right now I'm saying I don't feel exhausted, but probably after the stream my mind will still be racing because of all of what we've been doing tonight. So I definitely need that an hour after, just to wind down and take it slow. When are we going to see all your builds in one world? I mean, well, actually, I do want to make a video, and so I made a video showing all of the scale of all my builds. It's been a couple of years. I want to do an updated version of that where I place all these builds in. I place all these builds in. All these builds in one world where I copy them in and place them in a way that's where I can just show the entire kind of it's saving the entire where it shows the from the smallest to the biggest one. So I will do that. It won't be a world where it's made for lore purposes. It's only just to show them off compared to each other. So technically they will be in the same world, but maybe not for it's for the purposes of a video. Yeah. A cooking stream. I mean, you know I like cooking, Sandy, so that could be a thing. 6 cooks. Yeah. Okay, guys. You know what? It's been awesome. Really, it has been. I had so much fun, and yeah, I don't know what else to say than I don't know what else to say that my light has gone out. That's not enough. I mean, the one behind here, that's typically not enough for a whole stream. Well, my trusted fellow here is still working. Look how cute! Okay. I definitely want to leave now, but thank you so much for the stream, and I'll be here in a week, exactly in a week, and other than that, definitely come to my Discord, to Sixcord, and talk there. I'm regularly there to chat with, and Sandy and Sophia and Stongs, all the others. Myth, they're there too, so definitely come by. So yeah, thank you so much. I will be playing my awesome outro for you. I actually also have a Be Right Back screen that's also epic. I haven't actually used that before, but you might see that next time. But yeah, thank you so much, guys, and yeah, see you soon, and thank you all for a lovely stream.